Hello, my friends. This is immigration attorney Joseph Patrick Murphy with Allegheny Immigration Group. Got a report for you today about President Biden's exciting new parole programs. I'm getting a lot of calls from people who want to call for their loved ones, get them up here into the United States with these parole programs and be safe together. In this video, I'm going to explain how the parole process works, so stick with me. Again, my name is Joseph Patrick Murphy. I'm an immigration attorney with Allegheny Immigration Group. My practice primarily involves family-based and humanitarian immigration. Humanitarian immigration involves things like humanitarian parole, and that's what these programs are. Joseph Patrick Murphy with Allegheny Immigration Group. My office number is 412-521-2000. My personal cell, text, WhatsApp, and Viber, they're all the same number, 412-973-3442. That number rings right through to me. Don't hesitate to use it. I'll be happy to take your call. People call me all the time, and you can too. As I said, I've been getting a lot of calls, and the first thing a lot of people want to know is, what is parole? If someone comes to the border of the United States and they don't have a visa, they can't be legally admitted into the United States, but they can be paroled into the United States. And that's what this is. It's very similar to the people coming to the southern border and asking for asylum. Now, there are 4 countries that have been supplying a lot of those people. People have been making a very dangerous journey from their home country into Mexico so that they can get to the border and ask for parole. Those 4 countries are called the CHNV countries. The CHNV countries are Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. Collectively, these are called the CHNV nations. Those are the countries that are subject to this new rule. Anybody from any of those countries can use this new rule. Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. These are called the CHNV countries. One thing you should know is that if anybody from the CHNV countries does show up at the southern border, they won't be let in. They'll be turned around and expelled into Mexico under Title 42. That's the other part of this rule. They don't need to go to Mexico, though. You can call for them with the parole process. People who are granted parole are called parolees. During the term of their parole, parolees can't be deported. They can apply for work permits, they can apply for asylum, they can even marry citizens. Parole is usually for 1 year, but it could be for a shorter time. As I said, parole is normally granted at the border by Border Patrol, but people from the CHNV countries don't need to get to the U.S. border. They just need to have a sponsor in the United States. And again, those CHNV countries. The CHNV countries are Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. If you have friends, family, or loved ones in any of the CHNV nations, give us a call. We can help you call for them. Allegheny Immigration Group, 412-521-2000. And this is Joseph Patrick Murphy. If you'd like to speak to me personally, just call me on my cell phone, 412-973-3442. Stick with me here a little bit further and I'll show you how this whole program works. There are at least 2 parties to any parole application, a supporter and a beneficiary. The supporter is the person in the United States that wants to call for a friend, family member, or loved one in one of the CHNV nations. A beneficiary is the person being called for. It's a national of the CHNV nations, any one of them. So if they're a national of Cuba, a national of Haiti, a national of Nicaragua, or a national of Venezuela, they can be a beneficiary. Interestingly, the beneficiary doesn't have to actually be living in one of the CHNV countries. They just have to have a passport from one of the CHNV countries. To be a supporter, you have to have legal status in the United States. That could be citizen, green card, granted TPS, granted asylum, or under a grant of DED. People who've only applied for TPS or only applied for asylum can't call for their loved ones with parole. They cannot be supporters. The second thing you have to do to be a supporter is be able to pass a background check. The big thing, number 3, is you have to show the financial ability to support the beneficiary. And you do that with income tax returns or pay stubs. They want to see that you're earning enough to take care of everyone who's already dependent upon you, yourself, and the beneficiary. Now, they're a little bit more liberal than this table says, but if you want to look at how much you need to make, depending upon how many people are in your family, you can look at the table. It's called I-864P. Just Google I-864P. I'll show it to you here. And as you can see on the table, it's number of people in the household. That will be you, everyone else in the household that's dependent upon you, and then add in the beneficiary. That'll be your household size. and that's the I-864P table. So now we know what you have to be a supporter. Now let's talk a little bit about what the beneficiary has to have. As I said earlier, they have to be a national of one of the CHNV countries. Again, those are Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. They don't have to actually be in one of those countries, they just have to have a passport from one of those countries. So if they're living in some other country and they can show their passport from one of the CHNV countries, they can still be a beneficiary and they can still get paroled into the United States. The second important thing is they can't have dual citizenship or have already been granted refugee status in some other country outside of the CHNV countries. If they have somewhere to go to, or if they've already got refugee status somewhere else outside the CHNV countries, they don't need parole, they're already safe. Just like the supporter, the beneficiary will have to pass a background check, make sure they're not at risk of harm. And finally, the government doesn't pay for airline tickets, so the beneficiary or supporter, or maybe together, or they're going to have to pay for that ticket for air travel themselves. Once you have a beneficiary and a supporter, it's a 5-step process. The first step is the supporter has to fill out an I-134A for each beneficiary. There's no family application. Every single person that's going to be a beneficiary has to have a separate I-134A. Once that I-134A is submitted, the beneficiary will get an email at the email address that the supporter put into the I-134. That email will give them instructions on how to get the CBP-1 app and give their information. This is a new program. We don't know how long it takes, but these programs, these parole programs, they usually move pretty quickly. Shortly after the CBP-1 enrollment by your beneficiary, they'll get another email with a travel authorization. The travel authorization is important. As many of you are probably aware, most airlines won't even let you get on an airline headed to the United States unless you have a visa or proof that you're allowed in the United States. That travel authorization is proof that you're allowed to travel to the United States. Very important. When the beneficiary gets to the United States, they'll go up to Border Patrol with their passport and the travel authorization, and generally they'll be granted parole. I probably don't have to tell anybody watching this, but you should remember that parole is discretionary. So be on your best behavior, walk through Border Patrol in an orderly fashion, and I'll see you on the other side once you get that parole stamp. This is Joseph Patrick Murphy at Allegheny Immigration Group. If you'd like to call for your friends, family, or loved ones in any of the CHNV nations, Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, or Venezuela, give me a call. The office number is 412-521-2000. My personal cell, text, WhatsApp, Viber, and IMO, they're all the same number, 412-973-3442. I'm looking forward to speaking with you about these exciting new parole programs. This is Joseph Patrick Murphy. Thank you for watching.